Yep, it's raining. No, nice and wet out there. Maybe to get some of this heat out of my apartment now.
Their number one concern.
Jenkins previously served as an assistant DA in the San Francisco DA's office from 2014 to 2021. She has over 15 years of experience as an attorney.
The paramount mission of the district attorney's office is to promote public safety. And as your next district attorney, I will restore accountability and consequences to our criminal justice system here in San Francisco. Violent and repeat offenders will no longer be allowed to victimize our city without consequence.
Jenkins says she will target violent crimes, hate crimes, open-air drug markets, and improving incarceration rehab programs. Before her appointment, she resigned from former DA Chesa Boudin's office in 2021 due to dissatisfaction with the office's direction. She then joined in on the recall effort.
She sacrificed her career to fight for people in this city, to fight for victims who needed a voice in this city.
Jenkins is an African American and Latina, as well as a Bay Area native. Her appointment makes her the first Latina DA in San Francisco history. She studied at University of Chicago Law School and UC Berkeley. The new DA will serve until November.
Been skyrocketing on you. That's why I'm pushing to hold them accountable. It's time we investigate their greed and crack down on the price gouging to help lower costs for families and small businesses. I'm Raphael Warnock, and I approve this message because I'm working for Georgia.
You're listening.
In the meantime, Beijing also sent fighter jets across the Taiwan Strait. It's a move Taiwan decried as provocative. Here's more on what's happening.
U.S. Senator Rick Scott is on a 2-day visit to Taiwan. After meeting with President Tsai Ing-wen, he told reporters that the world has changed since Russia waged war on Ukraine.
I think what Taiwan has to do, Japan has to do, South Korea has to do. They have to continue to build interoperability with those they think will work with them to defend their freedom. They've got to continue to do more drills to make sure they're ready in case Communist China does or Russia or anyone else does the wrong thing. So I'm going to do everything I can to be helpful.
During Scott's visit, several Chinese fighter jets crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's defense ministry denounced Beijing's move as provocative and one which has seriously damaged regional peace and stability. The median line is an unofficial buffer zone between China and Taiwan. Normally, both sides stick to their respective areas, but in some cases, the Chinese Air Force goes beyond the dividing line. In the Pacific, the growing threat from China is also a cause for concern. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese raised the issue during his annual meeting with New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern.
Countries like Germany and Italy had passed legislation to encourage the use of solar energy, and domestic manufacturers couldn't keep up. This was instead outsourced to Chinese suppliers. Since then, the industry has grown precipitously, and China has become the undisputed world leader in solar technology. LONGi Technology is the largest solar company in the world and is responsible for manufacturing 25% of all silicon wafers across the globe. But LONGi isn't alone. Collectively, the Chinese solar industry accounts for at least 60% of global capacity in every stage of the supply chain, producing more than 66% of polysilicon and nearly 80% of solar cells. On the other hand, companies from across the world wanted to enter this field as renewable energy was becoming more lucrative. But it's difficult to survive in this industry. Since 2011, more than 750 solar companies have liquidated or closed, most notably Solyndra, which was backed by the Obama administration. In 2020, the Trump administration was still recovering parts of a $425 million loan that had been granted to a solar company during the Obama years. The failed project called Crescent Dunes, used thousands of mirrors in the Nevada desert to heat up steam in a giant tower and had cost more than $1.1 billion in total. The solar industry is an inherently risky enterprise that requires enormous investment across many years, as production aren't cost efficient until the project reaches a large scale. Rapid technological changes means that hundreds of millions can go up in smokes as yesterday's innovation becomes obsolete.
Tech balloons are anticipated to reach almost double that at 90,000 feet. The Pentagon plans to spend at least $27 million for their development. The balloons would be integrated within the military's extensive surveillance network. They could potentially be used to locate and track China's hypersonic weapons. The Biden administration is awarding around $1 billion.
They call the Chinese Communist regime the biggest long-term threat to both the U.S. and the UK, and accuse China of using Western systems for its own gain. Here's a closer look.
In an unprecedented joint appearance, MI5 Director Ken McCallum and FBI Chief Christopher Wray warned of the threat posed by the Chinese Communist Party to an audience of business leaders and academic chiefs.
The most game-changing challenge we face comes from the Chinese Communist Party. It's covertly applying pressure across the globe. This might feel abstract, but it's real and it's pressing. We need to talk about it. We need to act.
At MI5's Thames House headquarters in London, the Director General of the UK Security Service said the threat posed by the Chinese Communist Party pervades many aspects of the UK's national life.
MI5 has already more than doubled our previously constrained effort against Chinese activity of concern. Today, we're running 7 times as many investigations as we were in 2018. We plan to grow as much again, while also maintaining significant effort against Russian and Iranian covert threats.
McCallum said over the last year, the UK has shared intelligence about Chinese cyber threats with 37 countries and disrupted a sophisticated threat against aerospace companies in May. Wray said that the US consistently sees that the Chinese government poses the biggest long-term threat to the economic and national security of the US and its allies.
But the point I want to leave you with today is that the Chinese government poses an even more serious threat to Western businesses than even many sophisticated business people